A scene in Baltimore, a catastrophe, a state of emergency there now in effect in Maryland after a cargo ship collided with the Francis Scott Key Bridge. This caused it to collapse and it shut down one of the largest ports in the country. We'll take a live look right now. This is the aftermath of that collision as it sits now. Here we are about 15 hours after the event. Part of the bridge still on top of that ship this afternoon.
And if you've traveled through Baltimore, you have likely driven across this bridge. We want to show you video of the moment that the cargo ship slammed into Baltimore's Key Bridge. Take a look at this video. So stunning to see. You see the ship here hit a pillar underneath the bridge. You see a plume of smoke, and then the nearly 2-mile bridge crashes down into the frigid waters of the harbor below. The 47-year-old bridge stretches across the Patapsco River here. At least 35,000 drivers cross this every single day. Though this collision happened at 1:30 in the morning, sadly, there were still casualties. Let's tell you the very latest that we are learning at this hour. 8 construction workers were on the bridge at the time of the collapse. Within the last 30 minutes, a senior executive at Bronner Builders, that's the construction company, they announced that 6 of the company's workers are presumed dead. Operators of the ship lost power and apparently issued a mayday call. 2 have been rescued from the water. 2 of the construction workers, 1 with very serious injuries. At this time, officials are not confirming whether there are any cars in the water as well. Michael Yoshida is in Baltimore amid the search for victims.
To hear the words that the Key Bridge has collapsed, it's shocking and heartbreaking.
The sight of a massive cargo ship twisted in the remains of this major Baltimore travel artery surreal. Local, state, and federal emergency response teams have been working the scene by air, by boat, and using dive teams, looking for vehicles and any victims. For now, preliminary findings point to an accident, say investigators.
There is no specific or credible information to suggest that there are ties to terrorism in this incident.
A mayday call from the ship's crew just before 1:30 a.m. Eastern Time gave officials critical minutes to warn motorists heading towards the bridge.
Many of the vehicles were stopped before they got onto the bridge, which saved lives in a very, very heroic way.
Initial reports from the Coast Guard indicate that a harbor pilot and assistant were on board.
Maritime and Port Authority officials in Singapore, where the cargo ship is registered, confirmed that the vessel, Dolly, temporarily lost propulsion and dropped anchor as an emergency measure prior to the crash. The vessel's lights were seen flickering, then going out completely before it hit one of the bridge's key support pillars. While assessing the human toll remains the priority for response agencies, there's also a devastating impact to the region's economy.
We're one of 4 deep water ports that can handle the larger Panamax ships. We have a cruise terminal. So, getting through this is going to be really hard.
In Baltimore, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Now, local engineers play a major role in bridge safety, though in this case, it likely wouldn't have made a difference. At the Constructed Facilities Lab on NC State's Centennial campus, engineers look at ways to make bridges safer and more effective. Dr. Greg Lucier says engineers design bridges to absorb or deflect impact, but not from something as large as a cargo ship.
A cargo ship impacting a bridge would be an incredibly rare and incredibly extreme event that would not be expected under normal circumstances. You're talking about an impact load, the ship being the load impacting the bridge. That ship is weighing on the order that the bridge is weighing.
Lucier says they are learning from the Key Bridge collapse at this point. WRAL is digging into the ripple effect this collision could have on our local economy in North Carolina. Coming up at 4:30, WRAL's Ashley Rowlett will explain what ports in our state are doing to support the supply chain.
A very busy day back at home here. Within the last hour, President Joe Biden